my colleague has said, we are going to proceed in the same order of the group. So it will be Group 1, Pedro, Group 2, Igor, and Group 3, Luz Marie. You will have about, I would say, 15 minutes per each group to present the results. We will ask if there are any questions for the groups, and then round of applause, and the course will be officially finished. I will maybe take a couple of minutes at the end just to remind of a few, let's say, internal organizational, let's say, announcements regarding specifically the activities that you will need to complete before the end of the year in order to be able to get your certificate. So without further ado, I'm very happy to pass the floor to Group 1, who focused on the character of Pedro. I understand that the speaker for Group 1 is Mano. So over to you, Mano. Maybe try to see if you can share the screen on your side so that you are more in control of the flow of the presentation, and let us know if you require further assistance. Mano, if you are online, we are listening to you.
Thank you so much, Mickey. Thank you, colleagues. Good morning. How are you? Nice to to finally, also come to an end of a long journey of webinars and stuff. So we are happy and we are excited to be with you today. So I will try to share my screen now and see if everything will go well.
Mano, sorry, can you try to adjust a bit the screen because we see only a part of you? Oh, that's much nicer. Thank you. In case you have problems, we also have the presentation.
All right. Okay. Let me see. Windows. Okay. Just a moment. Let me know when you can see it, please.
We can see it now. Just enlarge it.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so okay. You can still see it. I just want to. All right. So I am presenting on behalf of Group 1. This is a work effort, and the colleagues will be they are available to clarify should there be any questions at the end of the presentation. So we are looking at Mr. Pedro. Mr. Pedro, we looked at Mr. Pedro, who is a national of Gumala, and he's 62 years old, and he's a father of 5 children. He's married, and he's currently hosted in Mexico. And he's there as a temporary migrant workers in the migrant worker in the agricultural sector. So the question one was on now, considering his situation, what would be the most important social protection benefits that he and his family would need while he is in Mexico, and as well as back when he gets back to Gumala, to be protected against the major contingencies or one faces in life. So number one, he's in Mexico. In Mexico, he's on a short-term contract as an in the agricultural sector, and of course, he is approaching retirement now. So we thought that he really he would need financial stability and healthcare support, and his family will also require assistance to cover educational expenses for his 5 children. So we did mention or put down the healthcare access, which is supplementary cover for his wife and himself, with issues such as chronic illnesses, and then retirement benefits, of course, to secure income after retirement, and also child benefits that includes education and basic living needs, as well as supplementary security income, which helps cover basic living expenses such as food, clothing, and shelter for him. That's what Group 2 I thought. While in his own country, we thought that Pedro's family needs health coverage and financial support, assistance with reintegration as they are going back, as well as housing for them to live in case maybe already, the issues of housing and land can be very tricky. So we thought that if Gumala can also strengthen social protection for informal workers like Pedro, it will be very vital for long-term security. So we, as they are highlighted, the health coverage, you would need really like universal health coverage, again for chronic illnesses, as mentioned in the case study, and also they will need to reduce medical costs since they will be in retirement already. They are way beyond, they are beyond 60, and so family benefit, that's like cash transfers, children allowance, and education grants, so and also school transfers and all that, retirement and pension schemes. So this is non-contributory pensions and maybe flexible contributions for informal workers, could really be of benefits to him in his country of origin, and also just migrant support, the pre-departure information, and post return and sustainable reintegration programs, because it can be very difficult to be reintegrated back in with your own people, because a lot have changed in the country, and also just administrative support on how to get what and where to get what will be highly beneficial. In question 2, it was on the particular challenges that agricultural migrant workers face, and what are the policy options for the extension of social protection coverage to Mr. Pedro and his family members. So in terms of challenges with legal barriers, practical barriers, and as well as administrative barriers. In terms of legal, we thought about the exclusion from labor and social security laws that this agricultural migrant workers face, and also ineligibility for benefit due to the short, unpredictable employment type that they normally hold, and also lack of agreements for benefit portability between countries. So the two countries, Mexico and Gumala, there can be that they don't have agreements that we found online, and so we were unable to really just to say, okay, this part can apply here, and when you are out and when you return and so forth. Dependents also often lack social protection access, so you due to maybe information, due to a lack of maybe lack of knowledge and also maybe some documentations. Children and the wife of Mr. Pedro could lack social protection access in even both countries. Practical barriers, we thought of language barrier and limited knowledge of rights. So sometimes a country where the migrant worker can be that the official language maybe is maybe not English, and maybe where they come from the official language is English, so most of the materials can be in another language, so there will be a barrier in terms of communication, translation, and all that. Isolation and absence of social networks. So some places or some countries, they would have groups for like migrants per se, like Namibians would have a community in Europe just for Namibian migrants that are there, that are really to support them, to share information and all that. So the absence of that can be a limiting factor. Low, unstable wage and poor working conditions. Sometimes the salary that a person earns is really just unstable. It varies season to season, or production wise, because it's agriculture and so forth, or it's just generally very low. So it's the person. In this case, maybe Mr. Pedro is unable to contribute to these schemes, or maybe to both schemes per se, even if the even if it's allowed, or even if it's the provision is there. The fear of retaliation discourages reporting abuses. So some of the discomfort of being, or the disadvantage of not being in your own place of birth is now also the fear of retaliation. If I do this, what if I'm sent back? What if and so this can be some of the practical barriers that we thought we could share. Administrative is mostly remote workplaces, limit access to services. So agriculture, as we may know, it's normally not always in close to the city, or close to the city center. They are mostly located at another place, at the farms or whatever. So those areas normally have limited access to many of the services. Lack of proper documentation. Some of the people that works in the agriculture sector, it's normally considered informal work. So it's people are not really they don't take documentation like identity very key. They can always take those chances, and it limits now the workers to be able to be registered elsewhere and benefit from schemes that are available, that they can actually benefit. Low trust in institutions. That's the economic issues around the country. Sometimes you get to see migrant workers saying, even if we do this cannot, or maybe it's empty promises. Even if you try, it will not work. So they kind of lack trust in their own institutions that are there to support and help them actually. In terms of policy options for extending social protection, we thought of legal coverage, that is to extend labor and social security laws to all workers, and also ensure portability of benefits through bilateral and multilateral agreements between countries, and also allow affiliation with home country social security, or exemption from dual contribution rather. While a person is contributing in a host country, can also be affiliated to their own social security of their home country, so that when they return, at least they still have that benefit, and not have the question of what now. Complementary measures, this is to develop unified registries, and also interoperable systems, and also just integrate informal workers into contributory schemes. also facilitate access through mobile unit and digital platforms, and also increase local office presence in rural areas. We get to see
Sorry to interrupt. I don't hear anybody. I don't hear. I think Mana was cut, and see Victor, you're on, but you're on mute. So okay, and also Leslie Ellie is confirming she doesn't hear. Victor, can you unmute yourself, because I see you're trying to perhaps to take over. Mano, okay, I can see perhaps Mano is back.
Oh my goodness, where did you lose me? At which point?
Okay, let me see. Let me open the presentation. Group one. On my side, I'm not sure. I think we were on the policy options. Victor, can you confirm?
Yes, she was there. I think she's back.
Yes, if you want, I will share the presentation this way. Mano has a more stable connection, okay? So I start
Okay.
again. Victor, you confirm we were on slide 5, policy options for extending social protection, correct?
Okay, then I didn't go that far.
Okay, so tell me, which slide should I put on?
The challenges agricultural migrant face. She was almost on the verge of finishing that item. So,
Okay, so we're on. Okay, so I put on slide 4. Okay,
yes.
go ahead, and
Okay.
I will
Okay.
share. This way, it gives
All
you
right.
more. It gives
Manu,
you
can
more
you share,
internet.
or you prefer her to share? You can share, you can reshare, or you are okay with her sharing?
No, I mean, if she wants to share, but I'm afraid we will lose her again. Okay, you can try
Yeah,
to.
just share so that I'm also just looking at the screen, so that when I'm lost, I know I have lost connection, because I didn't even notice.
Okay, so let
Yeah.
me. Okay. Okay, do you see it now?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
All right, so I was on the challenges, the particular challenges that agricultural migrant workers face, and I think I said we have put down the three: the legal, the practical, and administrative barriers. And on the administrative, I believe it's where I ended. It's the remote workplace limiting access to services, and the lack of proper documentation for migrant workers in the agricultural sectors, because most of them they are not documented, and they also do not come in the country through the right channel. So as a result, also the farm workers mostly, they just take a risk because it's cheaper to hire them. It's less costly, it's less administrative work to also hire them and all that. And then low trust in institutions, whereby a lot of promises have been made, a lot of damage have been caused, and so now somehow people kind of lose trust in the institutions that are available to assist them. In terms of policy options for extending social protection, our group thought three things that we could opt for: legal coverage as well as complemental measures. Under legal coverage, we thought of extending labor and social security laws to all workers, and and also ensuring portability of benefits through bilateral and multilateral agreements for all countries, and also allow affiliation with home country social security or exemptions from dual contribution. So here you yeah, okay, next slide please, Marian. So here you okay, thank you. Here we're looking at ensuring that at least countries have agreements in place, so that these agreements are able to help and make the processes smoother in terms of benefits and contributions, and also just having maybe a room for dual contribution, or maybe still affiliation to the contributions of the host country of the home country while one is away. Complementary, we thought developing unified registries and also interoperable systems, and also integrate informal workers into contributory schemes, and facilitating access through mobile units and digital platform, and also increase local office presence in rural areas, as most of these agricultural migrants are in rural areas setups, and it will be good to have those local offices for easier for easier administration and logistics. Next slide, please. Okay, so in terms of the three-step process approach for policy development, we have the set up coordination and implementation arrangement. This is really identifying stakeholders, which are government ministries, employers and workers representatives, as well as social security institutions. They are coming together to set up coordinated, systems for better implementation arrangements. So we believe that if a team comes together, then it would be much better to deal with policy development that speaks to social protection. Step 2, conduct a situation analysis, assessing the social security landscape and identify coverage gaps and obstacles faced by migrant workers. We thought this would be useful to be done on regular basis, because we would need data on a regular basis to back up our development and our changes in policies and all that, and then develop and implement policy measures. This is engaged in consultation between maybe Mexico and Gumala to formulate policies aligned with international labor standards. We also gave some example there, but the idea is really for them to have policies that are speaking to international standards, because then if we have like the Social Protection Convention or human rights, whatever, then they all then will be speaking the same language. It will be easier for their nationals or for their people to migrate from one country to another, they say. Now, assuming that Mr. Pedro was paying contributions to social insurance while working in Mexico, what would be needed to ensure the portability of his entitlement? So we thought it's documentations and formal registration proof that would be needed. We thought it's checking for social security agreements if they are in place, applying for totalization of contribution. Oh, next slide, please. Sorry. Okay, applying for totalization of contributions, claiming benefits from Mexico and Kumala also together, transferring benefits to Kumala or his benefits from Mexico, and coordinating health insurance coverage and seeking legal administrative support, awareness and also procedures to follow. Those are things that will be needed to ensure his smooth movement or smooth relocation to his country. Next slide, please. Here, question 4 was on how many years of contributions would he have already accumulated if during his entire career he would have contributed to Social Security. So, Pedro, so Mr. Pedro worked in Mexico for 15 years. He contributed to Social Security for half of the time. And then in Kumala, he also worked for 15 years with no contribution. And in Kunasa, 5 years, and he did contribute. So we then took Mexico's Mexico's 15 years. We multiplied that with 50%. So we took half of the years, and then Kumala 15 years that he had no contribution, and then we had Kunasa 5 years. So we said a total of 27 years. That is that is what he have accumulated during his entire career. So if he would have contributed to Social Security, that's the number of years. Next slide, please. In terms of Social Security measures that could implement to allow Pedro to make regular payments without voluntary contributions, if you could have been given options to contribute to either or the host or the home country, simplified contribution mechanisms if there was not much maybe logistics and administrative work involved, and also recognition of informal work from both countries, and portable Social Security benefits, as well as outreach and education. I think that makes the end of our presentation. Thank you so much for your time. Any questions or additions? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mano. I know that you cannot see me right now. I also had some connection issues as you were presenting, so it seems to be a bit the theme of the day. I hope that you can hear me. So thank you very much for your contribution. I would like to see if there are any comments or additions or any, I don't know, clarifications or anything that you would like to complement from the other members of your group first, and then we see if there are comments from the other groups. But I wonder if any of the teammates that also worked on the same case of Pedro have anything that they want to add to the conversation.
Basically, I would add that what is presented is a summary of our work, an 11-page alternative version of the time. So this is the effort of the collective effort of the group members. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor. That's appreciated, and I think you have done a very thorough job. So congratulations for that. But perhaps before I give my comment, I would like to see if there are any comments or questions from the other two groups. So if any of the members of group Igor and Luz Marie would like to ask for clarifications, for anything of the sort, please feel free to do that right now. We have some time. And if not, and I don't see any raised hands as well, so If not, from my side, congratulations. Like I said at the beginning, I think you've done a very thorough job. I particularly like how you structured your approach in subsequent steps. I think you covered many of the potential existing options with a good awareness of the challenges that indeed are there for seasonal agricultural workers. One of the things that was interesting to me in your proposals for potential complementary measures has to do with the use of digital access, with the idea of improving digital access, of improving access to digital platforms and mobile platforms, which I think is really interesting. Because specifically in the case of agricultural work, where it happens in rural areas, on the one hand, it has the great potential of being more flexible and potentially more easy to deploy on the ground, because it doesn't require necessarily the physical presence of offices, of administrative units, and so on. So it lightens in a way some of the load while still guaranteeing a presence. And at the same time, we know that the sort of the other side of the coin is that connectivity issues may be there, digital literacy may be a problem in this context. So I think it is a very interesting area for further exploration. And thank you for bringing it into the fold. So big round of applause, big congratulations to Group 1. I think you've done a very, very good job, very interesting pointers. With this, I would like to, in the interest of time as well, because I'm also mindful of the time, I would like to ask Group 2 if the presenter for Group 2, Igor, are ready. If they can start sharing their presentation, their slides, so we can see on the screen. You can take the floor directly. I am not sure. Okay, so Victor is highlighting that what has been presented here is just a summary. Thank you. And that you also have an 11-page report. Feel free to send it to us via email. We will find a way to post it on the platform so that everybody can also benefit from this.
Well, it was already.
Okay, fantastic. So over to group number 2. Can you confirm kindly for us who the presenter is going to be? I see that a presentation has appeared on the screen. Thank you very much.
I think it's
over to you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Miki. I think it's Tupu presenting, sorry.
Fantastic. Over to you, Tupu. Thank
you. And Tupu, perhaps you're still on mute because we don't. I don't see you in the little square. We can see well the presentation. So if Tupu is presenting, please unmute, or can the presenter unmute, because we can only see the slides now. And for the other groups, please think about some questions, because it's very useful to have the questions between groups. We still cannot hear anybody for group 2 presentation. So is it Patrick? Is it Mini, Gayatri, Tenga Ontake, or Leslie Eli, or Tupu? Who is presenting?
Tupu will be presenting.
Tupu, okay. So perhaps she has, thank you, Gayatri. Perhaps she has some trouble unmuting. Otherwise, I can share and Tupu presents, because that might also be the issue. Do you have a WhatsApp group or something we can know what's going on with Tupu?
We have an email group. Just let me check with her.
Okay, let's see.
Thank you. So perhaps just in the interest of time, if that is okay with Group 2, we can move to Group 3 for the moment, and then we can come back to Group 2 at the end, so that we can see if there is an internet connectivity issue, or if there's some other issue on your side. You have some time to address it, and you can let us know when you are ready. But in the meantime, we can start with Group 3, if that's okay with everybody.
But I see Tupu is here. So Tupu, can you unmute yourself? Can you speak? And
Oh, she says I have unmuted, so perhaps we cannot hear for some other
issue.
Ah,
Would
okay.
you try again, Tupu, please, just to try to speak so we can see? Oh, okay. Nobody hears you. Okay,
Now,
my suggestion then would be the following. Try to leave the Zoom call and come back. So you exit and then you come back, and sometimes this resets the sound. We can try that, and then if that doesn't work, we can see how we go about it. But perhaps that's the first thing that I would suggest. And then if that still doesn't work, I wonder if anybody else in the group would like to please take step up and take the floor and guide us through the presentation if the audio connection is still not working. Thank you.
okay, so should we move over to group 3 in the meanwhile, as you suggested, Mickey?
If that is okay with group 2, I would propose to go ahead with group 3.
Okay, so group 3 is the Luz Mari group. Can we have, I think it's Nicoletta presenting.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so I don't hear Nicoletta neither. I don't know about you. I can see her, but I don't hear her.
I did hear her, but I will wait. Yes. Over to you, Nicoletta.
To share my screen.
Let me share for you because it looks like it will be difficult otherwise.
Okay.
Okay. So you're presenting group Luz Maria, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I'm ready. Just a second. Okay. And so you can start, Nicoletta.
Okay, I don't receive the screen.
Yes. You should see it now.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, the group 3 worked on Luz Marie case. Please move to the next. Yeah, this is the team members. I hope someone of them are connected to the meeting and then can also complete and add complementary information at the end of the presentation. Please, next. Okay, this is the case synopsis of Luz Marie. So Luz Marie is the case of Luz Marie demonstrates the challenge faced by domestic workers regarding social protection coverage, requisite social protection benefit, mitigation measures to be considered for domestic workers, social protection coverage, and portability to enhance domestic workers' well-being. Luz Marie is 27 years old. She is single, no child, financially responsible for unemployed parents and indebted sister sometime. The host country is Belgium, but the Luz Marie is coming from Finns. The migratory status is that she is here in the Belgium for long-term residence permit. She is domestic worker with 6 years experience in Belgium and 2 years experience in Finns. Regarding social protection coverage, it is irregular. She is not registered with Overseas Workers Program in Finns, but in Belgium, she was registered, but only just two families on, but she worked for three families during 6 years. She was registered just for 4 years with two families. The current challenges that faced Luz Marie is that the coverage, knowledge gaps, and fear of unemployment if she returned in Finns. Next, please. The question one was about the main social protection benefit for Luz Mari, and the group worked on the 9 branches of social protection floors, the recommendation 202, and that is what we propose: the unemployment benefit to address unemployment concern in Finns. We have also the disability benefit to mitigate injury risk in her profession. We have the old age benefit to cover her post-advanced age. We have the maternity protection for future purpose. The family benefit, the family allowance will cater for future children and a husband, but now the case states that Luz Mari is not married. She don't have any child. The survivor's benefit to cover her dependent, and the employment injury to cover her in heart injury risk protection profession. The health insurance that covers her in Bellum and Fins for easy access to treatment, and the sickness benefit, cash benefit is in case she is unable to work. This is the answer, our proposed answer for question 1 regarding the main social protection benefit for Luz. Please, next slide. Okay, for the question 2, the part 1 is about challenges for extending social protection to domestic workers, and the group lists some of them. The one is that the exclusion for labor law. Many times, domestic workers are often excluded from coverage by the labor law, which can limit their right for social protection benefits. The lack of registration and irregular coverage. Out of the 3 families, only 2 registered Luz for social protection. Some domestic workers can be informally employed, thus making it difficult to enforce regulation. The non-portability of benefit. It is that the absence of bilateral or multilateral social security agreement between Bellum and Finns. The precarious employment and lack of contract. The absence of employment contract can negatively impact social security contributory schemes, rights, and accessibility. The complexity and lack of appropriate procedures hinders easy access to social security registration and collection benefits. The lack of representation. The domestic workers are often excluded from trade union, and employers of domestic workers also do not have representative organizations. The lack of monitoring and inspection. This is especially difficult because the place of work for domestic workers where the private households, inadequate to no enforcement policies to monitor and inspect insurance and access of social protection benefit. The lack of information, the knowledge gaps on existing legal obligations, social protection schemes and entitlements, and means of access, more challenging of domestic workers with limited freedom of mobility. And finally, the lack of coordination between countries, exclusion of domestic workers in national legislation, complicates domestic workers' social protection, bilateral and multilateral portability. Please. Next. Okay. The second part of the question of extending social protection to domestic workers, and these are what the group proposed: the mandatory registration and enforcement, Government should adopt and implement legislation that extends social protection benefits to domestic workers, including enforcement and penalty to promote compliance. Inclusive bilateral, multilateral social security agreement between Belum and Fins to consider such agreement to enhance social security portability and other key principles to social protection migrant workers as equality of rights or totalization and whatever. Simplified procedure to enhance access. Simplified administrative procedures, access to multiple languages for easy registration and access to social security benefits. Improve software in order to assist domestic worker record and track social security contribution and benefits. Incentive for employers. This is also very important. Government could offer tax breaks or other incentive to family who register domestic workers with social security, encouraging formalization of domestic work. Social protection floors. This is very important for country to ratify the convention, the recommendation 202 and implement minimum social protection guarantees for all workers, including domestic workers, to access minimum social protection. The adoption of unilateral measures. This is also very important. Include migrant worker domestic in national contributory or non-contributory social security schemes or program on a unilateral basis based on the principle of equality of treatment between national and non-national. We also have the complementary measures to enhance access. This is to addressing the administrative, practical, and organizational obstacle faced by migrant domestic workers, such as awareness raising campaign, translation of indispensable information related to social security schemes, and implementation of complaint mechanism. And finally, ratification and application of relevant ILO convention and recommendation. Example of Convention 102 on minimum standard of social protection, Convention 18 and 9, the Domestic Worker Convention, and also the Recommendation 201 on domestic workers. Please to next slide. The question 3 is about the portability of entitlement. To ensure Mary's contribution are portable, the following will be crucial. 1. The Fins and Bellum are to enter into bilateral social security agreement to allow the recognition of peers' contribution between the two countries, with key principles such as the maintenance of accurate rights and provisions of benefit abroad, portability of earned benefit, mutual and administrative assistance between the both states, and etc. Or coordination also, for example. The proposition 2 is the totalization agreements. Accumulated contribution from both countries should be combined to determine eligibility for benefits like pensions or unemployment insurance. The proposition 3 is to establish an international database for tracking contributions across countries. And finally, software that helps migrant workers provide and record their contributions for portability. Next. Next slide. Okay, the final question is about the years of contributions accumulated if during her entire career Luz contributed to social security. Okay, the case states that in Fins, Luz Marie worked during 2 years. In Bellum, she worked during 6 years. Registered contribution with two family, just 4 years, 2 years per family. If the third family also register her and continue to contribute while she is working, then she contributes another 2 years. Total years of contributions accumulated will be 8 if her contribution were continuous in both countries. Okay, thank you very much for your kind attention.
Thank you very much, Nicoletta, and thank you, Nicoletta, for your presentation, but to the entire group for the effort that they clearly put into drawing this together. So once again, very comprehensive and very well structured work. Can I ask if there's any additional comment or remark from the members of the same group? First, if there's anything that your colleagues would like to ask. Yes, please.
Please, yes. During our work, I had two main questions regarding the recommendation 202 on social protection floors. Just to clarify, the family benefit. I know that the family benefit just concern the spouse and children. Please to confirm or not confirm that. And my other question, I forgot it. I will recome with it.
That's okay.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Nicoletta. Thank you. So for the question on the social protection floor recommendation, let me get back to you, but maybe if you can send me in an email both of the questions so that we can double check. So I am seeing a few points in the slide. Okay. So are there any comments from the other two groups indeed on top of the on the subject of the presentation that was just done by group 3? And if not, sorry, please. Okay, that was my mistake.
No, Mickey, I think either we have participants who are just all very friendly one to the other, but it's the first time I have no question at all from one group to the other, or they're very tired also because it was a very intense course.
It is indeed the end of the year, and it was a very intense course for everyone involved. So let's move on then. So once again, thank you to the group 3. I think the situation of migrant domestic workers, as you have correctly pointed out in your slides, presents some very specific challenges. One that I always find particularly relevant, and I think you've mentioned this quite extensively as well in your presentation, is the issue of the not necessarily the lack, but the difficulty of ensuring access for labor inspections, considering that the workplace is a private household and not a workplace in the sense that we normally intended, like an office that you can walk in or a factory that you can walk in more easily and more readily. So there are different layers of consent that are also involved in addressing these types of challenges. So I think you've also done an absolutely comprehensive job of the types of recommendations that you have put forward, and on the different questions that the group work required you to look at. So once again, fantastic job, group 3. If there are no further questions or comments from the other groups, I am happy to pass the floor then to group 2. Thank you for your patience with our reshuffling of the order. So let's see if group 2 is ready to present. Over to you.
So Mickey, I will be sharing my screen, and Tupu, can you unmute yourself? This way we know if you are able to speak this time. Okay, I see Tupu, but I don't hear her. So did you try to, yeah, we cannot hear you, Tupu. Did you try to disconnect and reconnect? Can you just tell me yes, no with your head? This way, okay. Can you try to close your video, but remaining to see if you have enough band? Okay, let's see. Can you try to speak again because we don't hear you, Tupu? Okay, I'm afraid Tupu will not be able to present. Anybody else of the group is able to present?
Yes, I was just going to say, if there's anybody else in the same group that is willing to carry us through the presentation and to lead us through the presentation, we're very happy to listen to you. That's okay to pause. It happens sometimes. Like I said, it happened to me today, early this morning. I'm actually connected from my phone because my laptop froze as I joined the Zoom. It froze twice. So I decided that it was a sign that I needed to switch to a different device. And fortunately, I could connect from my phone. Sometimes this is not an option, but I understand that sometimes there are challenges that are outside of our control. So don't stress too much about it. We have received your work. We will take a look at it. If there's anybody else in your group that can also take the time now to present, we are very happy to listen. If not, my request to you would be to record a short presentation that you do. So 15 minutes, you can set it up on your Zoom on your own. So you can simply create a Zoom for yourself, you present and you record yourself as you present, and then you send us the file so that we can see a little bit. We can also have a copy of your presentation. We can put it on the eCampus and share with the other participants. But we will take the submission of the PowerPoint. If you can send it to us via email or upload it on the eCampus, you can also do that. Please make sure that we have a copy so that we can keep it for our records and that we can make sure that the points for the group work are being counted correctly. Last chance. So if no one is able to present right now, okay, that's fine. So in the interest of time, and I also understand that in the Pacific it's very late at the moment, late in the evening. So once again, please make sure to send us a copy of your presentation. And then please make sure to try as much as possible to arrange a recording of the presentation within the end of this week. So by the end of this week, send us a WeTransfer with the recording. We would appreciate it immensely. I would like to take just one moment to recognize, to acknowledge the work that all of you have done throughout these past 6 weeks. It's been this is one of the courses that in our portfolio, I think is one of the most intense and one of the most demanding courses. So I'm very happy to see the effort that you've put in, the dedication that you've put in, and it's been really inspiring to see how you have been able to apply it to concrete cases like the ones that we have discussed throughout these different personas. As we wrap up this course, I am going to take maybe another couple of minutes to just go through once again the requirements so that you can make sure that you are keeping track with what is required for your certificate of participation or certificate of achievement. And then we can call this a day and go and enjoy some free time, or at least take a breath and not have to worry about the course assignments anymore. But just to recap, and I am going a little bit by heart at the moment, so forgive me if I'm not sharing my screens. Marion, thank you. She's sharing the screen for me. That's very kind. Excuse me. So In any case, if you go to the course eCampus page, under the first session that you see, you will find, so under useful information, you will find an activity called course structure and certification requirements. And that is where all the information is going to be saved, as you have been able to see already at the beginning. I have also shared at the beginning of the course a quick presentation with the, let's say, a recap of all the assignments and the way that the points that you can earn throughout the course are broken down. So you have every week you had 2 activities that you needed to complete. One was a weekly forum of discussion and one was a weekly quiz. So make sure that you complete all those for all of the 6 weeks that you have in the course so that you can earn the maximum amount of points possible. And in addition, participation in the group work, so what we have presented today, was also counting for 20 points. You can complete these 3 steps, so the weekly activities, forum and quiz, and the group work, and with this you will be able to obtain your certificate of participation. However, as you know, we also offer an additional layer, let's say, of certification, which is a certificate of achievement. And the reason why I'm highlighting this is because the certificate of achievement is the only one that counts towards earning your diploma on labor migration experts and practitioners. The diploma is a journey, a learning journey that that can last up to 5 years. So 5 years from the moment when you complete your first course, and then you will have to complete 3 courses plus the Academy on Labor Migration with a certificate of achievement, and you will become eligible for the diploma, which you will learn by completing a capstone project. I am taking a little bit of extra time to focus on this because, as Marion mentioned, I just came back from mission, and part of the mission that I was just on was a graduation ceremony for a group of participants who had completed their diploma, who had done all the work in the past 4 years, so it took them 1 less year than anticipated. They completed the 3 courses, they completed the academy, they submitted their capstone project, and they were able to earn their diploma, and we celebrated that on Monday. So it's a very, very enriching, I would say, and it's rich and it's enriching as well for you. It's an inspiring journey that we have taken together, and I'm very, very happy to report this to you, to use this as a little advertisement for our diploma. It was a joyous celebration, and I hope that we can have many more of those with a number of other participants, hopefully including you all as well, in the near future. If you would like to have a little bit more information on the diploma structure and the requirements, Marion is sharing the page on the screen right now, but you can also send us an email. We can have a one-to-one chat and look at the different requirements and look at the different options that you can have, that you can keep in your mind if you want to go ahead with the diploma. So for the certificate of achievement, you will need to do, in this course, you will need to do a little extra work, which comes in the form of a final essay that you can write on a topic of your choice, as long as it falls within the framework or the theme, the topics that have been addressed throughout the course. So please take some time to think about it. If you would like to have, once again, a little bit of guidance, just send us an email. We are happy to discuss, but generally the choice is up to you. It's an essay of around 5-6 pages, so between 1,500 and 2,500 words. So nothing super long, but the 2 points that I would like to highlight on this is that the essay should address the gender dimension as well. So this is one of the criteria against which we are going to assess the quality of your work. And also should try as much as possible to incorporate the main messages or the key messages, the key topics that have been addressed throughout the course. The other thing, the last thing, but not the least important by any means, is that please, and I cannot stress this enough, please correctly reference your sources. please correctly cite your sources, cite your references, so that we can avoid completely the issue of plagiarism, because this is very important for us. It's something that we take very seriously. So make sure that the work that you do is your own work, and that if it references pre-existing publications or reports or other works that are available, make sure that you cite them correctly. And the same goes for artificial intelligence. So make sure that the work that you submit is the result of your own effort. The final assignment will count for around 20 points. So it's not a small amount. And also it's, as I said, it's a requirement for the certificate of participation. So we take it very seriously, and we are sure that you're going to take it seriously as well. In terms of deadlines, we can, I know that some of you may not have completed all of the quizzes and all of the forum discussions, forum exercises. So let me take this opportunity to maybe agree with you on this. We can extend the deadline for the course activities to Friday this week. So it will be, if I'm not mistaken, Friday the 6th of December, Central European time. And then we will give you a few weeks more to complete your final assignment, and the final deadline for the final assignment will be on the 20th of December. Please note that this is a hard deadline. We will not be able to extend further, because after that date, the center will close for the year. And because this course is linked, this is the 2024 course, its activities need to be completed within 2024. So there is not a lot of flexibility in terms of deadlines on this one. So please bear with us and make sure that you submit your assignment by the 20th of December. We will be here. We will be supporting you throughout these last steps. So feel free to reach out at any time, send us an email at any time. This is what we're here for. We're here to support you in your learning experiences and in your learning journeys. So make use of us. And we are very, very happy to help. I think this is the moment where we finally conclude and completely, officially close this course, these 6 weeks that we've passed together. I would like to take just a couple of minutes to say a few thank yous, because I think they are particularly important, and sometimes we forget to do it when we are closing courses online. First of all, and I know that they're not all here, but first of all, a big thank you to the experts that have contributed to enriching these sessions. You know that the two main points of reference for this course have been my colleagues Samia Kaziaul and Clara van Panhuis from the ILO headquarters, respectively from the Migrant and the Social Protection Department, because this course is very much a joint effort. But also a big thank you to all the other speakers that have intervened in the different sessions. And as usual, one of the things that I always have very, very present in my mind when I do this work is that nothing that we do happens in a void, and nothing that we do is the result of a one-man show. So my biggest thank you right now is to my teams. Marion, she's always behind the scenes. She doesn't take the spotlight very often, but without her, nothing that we are doing today would have been possible. And to my colleague Elton as well, whom you have seen here and there during the webinars of this course. Again, big thanks for his effort. And also, perhaps the biggest thank you to all is to you, to the participants who make these courses come alive, because once again, we would not be able to do much if we didn't have an audience that worked with us and that trusts us to go through these learning and training experiences together. So thank you also for your participation throughout the weeks. Thank you for your engagement, for your motivation, for your questions, for waking up sometimes at times that may not have been the best. But we really appreciate seeing the type of engagement and the type of motivation that we've seen in this group for this edition of the course. So that's my concluding remark. Thank you all very much for your efforts. I think you've done a great job. And as Marion is saying, we are only an email away, so we will be in touch in the next few weeks to support you in concluding all the activities linked to this course. And with that, I thank you very much. Over to you, Marion.
Thank you to you, Mickey, for also the effort you've made because Mickey has just come back from South Africa from a very intense double mission in South Africa. I think we had a little interruption before, and I think Tupu was trying to take the floor.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Oh, would you like?
I'm talking from my phone.
Oh, okay.
So,
Sorry. So, yes, I'll do that little 15 minutes video and send it to
That's
your.
okay. But if you would like to stay online, we can also stay online and listen to your presentation live if you are comfortable with that. Let me know. It's up to you.
Yeah, yes, if it's okay.
Of course, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay,
Maria,
so
is it okay from your side to share the screen?
yes, so let me share and I will conclude again quickly at the end of this presentation then.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, I think you can see the presentation now. Correct?
I can see it now. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead, Tupu. You have 10 to 15 minutes. Thank you.
Yes, I'll talk fast because my group are here, but I think they are a bit shy, camera shy. Or maybe this is why it's taking long. So our persona is Igor. This is his nationality. Kursinen, he's 39 years old, married with one child, and his host country is Bosnia. He's been working regularly in an informal economy, the construction sector. So before he went to Bosnia, he worked in 7 years in Kursnia. He had worked in Slonja for 4.5 years, contributed to the social security system, and he wanted to go back to Bosnia, and he got a job there as a truck driver. And he's been working 3 years and contributed to the social insurance system. But there was an oil crisis that led to the recession in Bosnia and the whole sub-region, with 1.1 million layoffs. And he's been working for short periods for 3 years. His wife has also worked informally in a restaurant, but on a more regular basis. Next, please. Our first question is, considering Igor's situation, what would be the most important social protection benefits for him and his family? The first one we looked at was the unemployment benefits, since he's worked, had informal work due to the recession and the layoff. We also consider the pension benefits, since he had contributed to social protection in Kursnia and Slonja and Bosnia also. The health insurance is also very important, and especially as his wife has worked in informal in the restaurant. Oh, sorry, I think it's not really showing. And then there's the family and child benefits, allowances and benefits to help the wife and the child as well with the education. Social assistance, especially with the informal work due to the recession. His wife if there's a situation that his wife's income is not enough to meet the needs of the family, maternity and paternity benefits in case they have children in the future. And these benefits would help mitigate financial risk. I think it doesn't show here, but on our notes on the presentation, we also consider funeral and funeral grant and survivors benefit in case unfortunate circumstance and Igor passed away or the wife passed away. Next slide, please. Sorry, and it doesn't really show here, but the last one was sickness benefits as well. Second question: what would be the main? What are the main international legal instruments to that can help provide social protection for Igor and his family? So here are the key international legal instruments. The ILO conventions in 1952 and 1975, where it provides minimum standard for social security benefits, healthcare, maternity, disabled, old age, survivors pension, unemployment, what we just explained in the first question. The European Union regulation, if these countries, Bosnia, Krasnia, and Slovenia, are part of that broader European economic area, so that it would allow for these countries to not lose out on the benefits for Igor if he keeps moving from countries to countries. The United Nations International Covenant on Economic, Social, and Cultural Rights. There's a broad legal framework for social protection to extend to all workers, including those in the informal sector. The International Convention on the Protection of the Rights of All Migrants and Members of Their Families. This aims to protect the migrants' rights, including social security, regardless of their status. Next, please. Here are the policy options to extend social protection to migrants in the informal economy. First is to design a system that explicitly include informal economy workers, a social protection that provide a baseline of support, especially basic needs like healthcare, irresponsible irrespective of their employment status. The social security across countries that would help equal his years of contribution across these three countries, that just help him allow the social security rights for his contributions. We are also consider bilateral agreements between these countries that would help facilitate aggregations and portability of benefits. Information session for migrants to guide him, guide Igor on how to access the social protection in these different countries, but also have a tripartite approach, where all these governments could partner up with businesses and NGOs to create a safety nets for especially for informal workers, and social protection for family members, since the wife is working informally, to also include beneficial, yes. Next, please. Question 3. Based on the fact, assuming that Igor was paying contributions to social insurance while he was working, what would he need to ensure the portability of his entitlements? As I've just explained, having a bilateral and multilateral agreements is crucial to encourage all these 3 countries to recognize the benefits portability across borders. And these agreements should outline national systems to avoid double contributions. It would help to define a clear mechanism for dispute resolution and claims, how to process claims when workers experience gaps or disputes. And it would also help this agreement to provide equivalent treatment of workers, non-discrimination, non-bias across member states should be guaranteed. Secondly, totalization of contributions, aggregating contributions across countries. In all these 3 countries, all his contributions should be able to meet the eligibility thresholds of pensions, and it would also help not to penalize workers. The proportional benefits, each country should calculate benefits proportionally based on the total duration of contributions, and the eligibility coordination is totalization should include a harmonized retirement age. And minimum contribution period. So Igor doesn't load out on the entitlements due to different criteria from different countries. Next, please. A centralized record keeping, to have a system that have records of the history of employment and contribution, easy access, offer secure and private access for the workers, accessible information, a worker-focused education campaign. Information should be provided in multiple language, and they should have like social security officers, unions, and campaigns should include guides on how to navigate through the claims process. Next, please. And yes, enhanced institutional support, having liaison officers in each countries, provide direct support for them, facilitate data exchange, and also develop a regional arbitration framework for grievances from workers. Social protection for informal workers, should promote the schemes for inclusion of informal sector, and also voluntary social insurance contributions. Should also explore emergency support, focusing on unemployment benefits and retaining programs for informal sectors. Next, please. My last question is concerning the year. If he has paid social contributions throughout his career, how many years? So he spent 7 years in Krasnia, contribute to the social protection, and 4.5 years in Slonia, 3 years in Brasnia, and 3 years informal short periods. So altogether 17 years. So this 17 years, we are thinking if these what I had just mentioned, if we include voluntary contribution, if they are recognized in formal contribution, then it's 17 years. But if not, then we minus the 7 years of informal employment. To sum it up, to have the agreements would really help. Alternatively is to have the information to the workers. And lastly, something that we forgot to mention is the Committee on the Rights of the Child. To the questions before focus on Igor and the wife, but this one is to also include the child. Yes, prepare him as he enter into a different country. Next, please. Yes, I think that is from us, and my team can add on because they help a lot in doing all this discussion and this presentation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tupu. Thank you for doing this presentation despite the digital challenges, let's say, to the connection challenges. And it's been a pleasure to see how once again how well structured, how detailed, and how comprehensive it has been. I'm sorry. I hope that okay. First of all, let's see if any of the other group members have anything that they want to add. But as you said at the beginning, they seem to be a little camera shy. So. But obviously, we're happy to give them the opportunity if they wish to contribute. And if there are any questions or comments from the other groups, we're happy to take those as well. And if not, because I don't see at the moment anything happening in the chat or any hands being raised. So in the absence of any further comments, let me thank you once again, Group 2, for the work that you've done. And for the presentation that you've given us today. It's once again fantastic job, and thank you all. And I'm very, very happy that we managed to have the chance to listen to you talk about it on live, because it's always much more engaging, I would say, to be able to hear it directly from your own words rather than just reading it on a PowerPoint. So thank you so much for this. Marion, you are confirming that, I can see in the chat that you are confirming that all quizzes will have a deadline on the 7th of December. So this is confirmed. And if there are, or if there were any inconsistencies in the eCampus page, rest assured they are being fixed, or they are fixed already. And then confirmation that the deadline for the final essay for the Certificate of Achievement is the 20th of December. Any further questions you may have, you can refer to us. We're happy to help. Marion, over to you if you needed to maybe add something or, I don't know, add any comments from your side.
Okay, no, so thank you. As I was saying before, okay, all the deadlines are clear. In any case, we will send you a notification as we have been doing for the last 6 weeks and a half. And you're actually lucky because the six weeks course has become 7 weeks, so you've got a bonus. We will keep writing to you, reminding you the deadlines. Don't worry, you will not be left on your own because the course is finished in theory. Then just one more thing, as the deadline Miki has said is the 20th of December for the final essay. You will not receive any certificate before end of January will be the most optimistic, because we will be closing from 20 December till 2nd of January, and Miki and myself will actually be back from leave only from the 7th of January. So on the most optimistic time for receiving the certificate will be end of January. In any case, we'll keep in touch. Thank you. I would say Tupu got extra points for the effort she had to make with connecting with the phone, getting stressed because we couldn't hear. No, I'm joking. But in any case, everybody today has been working really hard. We could see the results of our work, which is really heartwarming for us. Also, as Miki said, we thank very much Samia and Clara for their contribution to the course, and Elton, who has been also also co-sharing some sessions. So thank you, Miki. Thank you to all. We'll keep in touch.
Thank you, everyone. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Soon.